Ladies and gentlemen, I am quite late making this video because this was a Monster Week, Dragon Week video. We're reacting to the winning dragon of the GM Philosophy Dragon Week Content Creation Contest, Cobbleclaw Dragon by Bailey. If you like dragons, you're not going to want to miss this. Let's dive in. This is my reaction, my review. Literally have not looked at the winning dragon yet. We are going to dive into it right now. Let's go. For those of you who don't know, April 21st through the 25th of 2025 was Monster Week. And this year's Monster Week was Dragons. Monster Week is an annual community event created and organized by Ginny D and Pointy Hat to bring together TTRPG creators on YouTube. This year's theme was Dragons. And in honor of Dragon Week, we hosted a dragon content creation contest on the GM Philosophy Discord. Big shout out to John Haney, who actually organized this contest, and to Dirty Socks for helping to administrate, and to all the other counselors, Kelf and Avery especially, who helped to kind of run these things and who always helped to moderate the Discord. But we came up with some awesome dragons, and if you go look at my videos past, you're going to find some reviews of these dragons. Amazing. If you want to grab any of these dragon PDFs, you can find them in the GM Philosophy Discord, but that's the only place you're going to find them unless you contact the creator specifically. But today, my friends, we are talking about reviewing, reacting to the winning dragon creation from Bailey, Cobbleclaw Dragon. Now, when I heard this name, I thought, what does this mean? And I was picturing I was actually kind of picturing a gold or a copper dragon, because for some reason when I heard the word cobble, I thought of a cobbler. And I was like, well, a cobbler, don't they make things out of copper? I think I'm wrong actually about that, but that's what I was thinking. But boy, was I not prepared for what I was about to see. When I opened up this file, I was like, oh, wow. Another interesting thing about this is that all the dragons I've reviewed thus far have had 3 pages. This is 2 pages, so there's a whole page less. But boy, is there a lot of value and awesomeness packed into these 2 pages. So let's dive into Cobbleclaw Dragon. Boom. I'm excited to look through this. I haven't read it. I just opened it, and now I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, I see what's going on. So let's go. Let's do this reaction. All right, Cobbleclaw Dragon. Look at the images. Instantly, you can see what Cobbleclaw means. Masters of terrain and ambush techniques. Cobbleclaw dragons turn once trusted roads into treacherous ground. With long serpentine bodies, the scales of a Cobbleclaw dragon resemble that of moss-covered cobblestones or weathered asphalt, allowing them to blend near seamlessly into the landscape. When a Cobbleclaw dragon claims a stretch of road, it may lay unmoving for weeks at a time, lying in wait for unsuspecting travelers who mistake it for just a twist of the path. That is wild. Due to their appearance and long stationary ambush periods, Cobbleclaw dragons often develop symbiotic relationships with local flora and fungi, further enhancing their camouflage and deepening their I love how camouflage is bold text, and deepening their connection to the land they claim. Some Cobbleclaw dragons act as silent guardians, granting boons to passerby, ensuring safe passage, and keeping the way clear of bandits. Less benevolent types, however, are fiercely territorial, rising from the pavement without warning, stone and earth falling away as it lashes out at its prey. That's not scary. Actually, it's very scary. All right, we have a stat block. Oh my god, a gargantuan dragon. Any neutral alignment. So they're either neutral good or neutral evil, or chaotic neutral, it sounds like. All right. AC 19, initiative, plus 12, 22, HP 195, 17d12, okay, CR 14, speed 60, fly 30, burrow 60. That makes sense because they burrow. Strength 23, dex 14, con 21, intelligence 14, wisdom 13, charisma 19. Right away, I kind of feel like the HP should be bigger for a gargantuan dragon. I feel like pump them numbers up. I'd pump them numbers up. Maybe I'm a mean GM. I've been saying that about a lot of the dragons in the contests, with the exception of a few. There have been a few that have plenty of HP. But I just kind of feel like these numbers should be pumped way up. The strength I like. The dex is good. The con is good. The intelligence, the wisdom, the charisma. I think all these things are good. I kind of feel like a gargantuan Cobbleclaw Dragon would have a higher intelligence. I would put it at an 18 at least. Because aren't they probably more intelligent than the average humanoid? I would say probably. Unless this is a more animalistic dragon. But the fact that they're laying in wait to ambush tells me that there's a lot of like intelligence going on. Skills, perception 11, stealth 12. Yeah, it's stealth 12. That's actually really good. I might actually say that they get advantage on all stealth checks because of the nature of what they are. They're literally an ambush predator. Resistances, force, non-magical, bludgeoning. Oh, they interesting. Piercing and slashing from stone skin. Oh, they basically have stone skin. Nice. Conditioned immunities, blinded, grappled, prone. Senses, tremor sense, obviously. Dark vision, blind sight, passive perception. Okay. Traits. Okay, here we go. We're going into the traits. False road. While motionless on natural or paved terrain, their scales mimic the texture of weathered asphalt or cobblestone, rendering them indistinguishable from the landscape, giving the Cobbleclaw Dragon advantage on stealth checks. They're like a chameleon. They're like a chameleon dragon. Guarded rest. While the Cobbleclaw Dragon is unconscious, it can't become affected or detected by spells of 3rd level or lower. Oh, interesting. It's almost like they're harder to detect when they're asleep. Legendary resistance, 3 times a day. If the dragon fails a saving throw, it can choose to succeed instead. I like it. Actions. Multi-attack. The Cobbleclaw Dragon makes 3 claw strike attacks. It can replace 1 attack with the use of spell casting to cast Earth Tremor, level 3 version. Nice. Claw strike, melee attack roll, plus 11, reach 10 feet, hit 13, 2d6 plus 6, slashing damage plus 4, or 1d8 force damage. You know, I don't know, man. For a gargantuan dragon, I'd really pump them numbers up. I'd pump them numbers way up. I feel like that's 2d6 plus 1d8. Well, it's 2d6 plus 6, and then plus 1d8 force damage. I just feel like they would do way more damage than that as a gargantuan creature. I mean, imagine if they step on you, right? I mean, it's insta-kill. So a claw strike should be pretty debilitating. Gravel Storm. Recharge 5 or 6. Is this its breath weapon? Dexterity saving throw DC 18. Each creature in a 60-foot long, 10-foot wide line. Okay, it's a line. Failure, 54 or 12d8 bludgeoning damage and become blinded. Success, half damage. So it's a gravel storm. It's literally like it doesn't actually say what it is, but it sounds like a gravel breath weapon, which is actually super cool. Spellcasting. The dragon can cast the following spells with innate magic using charisma as a spellcasting ability. Spell save, DC 17 plus 9 to hit with attack spells. At will, mold earth, earth tremor, entangle, stone skin. That's actually very cool and very thematic. Twice per day, hallucinatory terrain. Yeah, once per day, earthquake. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Earthquake is a big spell. Back in 3rd edition, Earthquake was a 9th level spell. What is it in 5e? It's an 8th level evocation spell in 5e. 1 action, you create a seismic disturbance at a point on the ground that you can see within range. For the duration, an intense tremor rips through the ground in a 100-foot radius circle centered on that point and shakes creatures and structures in contact with the ground in that area. Yeah, man. Fissures can open. Structures can fall. So it's a big spell. Earthquake is a huge spell. So that's another thing that this dragon has. Okay, legendary actions. 3 uses. Leap. The dragon can move up to half its speed and make its 1 claw strike attack. Nice. Road Rage. Each creature within 15 feet of the Cobbleclaw Dragon must make a DC 18 dexterity saving throw or take 4d10 bludgeoning damage and can be knocked prone as the terrain violently shifts. I like it. One interesting thing is on these descriptions, they don't actually describe what's happening. You kind of have to imagine what's happening. So for the leap, for example, we know it's a leap. The dragon can move up to half its speed and make its 1 claw strike attack. So it's like, it's going to move half its speed in a leap. Road Rage. Each creature within 15 feet of the Cobbleclaw Dragon must make a DC 18 dex saving throw or take 4d10 bludgeoning damage and be knocked prone. But the terrain violently shifts, but what's actually happening, I'm imagining the dragon is like shaking and shaking the ground or something. But it's interesting that these descriptions don't specifically say what the dragon's doing. Hit the road. The dragon moves up to its full walk or burrow speed without provoking opportunity attacks. The path the dragon travels becomes difficult terrain as the ground is left cracked, uneven, and littered with debris. Okay, so it can it can bounce and then not provoke opportunity attacks. A gargantuan dragon. All right, we've gone over it. We've gone over it. And actually, compared to some of the other entries, there's a lot fewer words here, but I like it. And a lot was said with very few words. Now it's time for my final reaction, final review. Let's go. All right, so Cobbleclaw Dragon, super interesting. I'm going to award this. I'm going to label this basically the most creative dragon concept I have seen in this contest, in this Dragon Week contest. I've seen amazing gargantuan dragons, god level dragons. I mean, just forces of nature dragons, all kinds of dragons. But this is so unique, so interesting. And I can see why this was the winner. I can honestly see it because, the concept is actually very creative. And I don't think that I've ever even thought about this kind of concept before. It's basically a dragon that has chameleon like abilities, mimics the ground, mimics the terrain. Sometimes it's benevolent, sometimes they're just an ambush predator looking for food or for trouble. And I think that this is definitely probably the most creative idea that I've seen out of the batch. I think that Bailey definitely deserved to win. I would probably beef this thing way up. It's a gargantuan dragon, so that's huge. I feel like 195 HP is a light on that, and I just feel like its attacks, like its breath weapon's actually good. The Gravel Storm 12 DA is very decent, plus blinded. So I like that, but for example, it's on its multi attack, its Claw Strike on a hit only does 2d6 plus 6 plus 1d8. So right now, this is like a gargantuan dragon. I actually feel like you could throw it a lower level party, maybe even level 3, level 4. I think a level 3 or a level 4 party could take this dragon. I feel like that would be a little bit difficult to believe, that a level 3 or level 4 party could take on a gargantuan dragon of this caliber and magnitude. So I would pump those numbers way up and make this a dragon that a level 10 party would struggle with. That's what I would do. But that's just me. If I wanted to go with some of these lighter stats, I would actually make it smaller. So maybe, like, for example, on the HP being 195, maybe just making it large sized or even, dare I say, medium sized would be, I think, a little more accurate. And then that would fit more with its claw attack. And then, of course, maybe then take down the Gravel Storm, because the Gravel Storm could really level, actually, a group of like level 3 characters, even though the rest of the dragon feels kind of like more matched to that level. And then it's got like the Road Rage ability, 4d10 bludgeoning. That's like that's not so imbalanced. So here's what I'm seeing with this dragon. I think that it feels actually really well balanced for a 3rd or 4th level party, with the exception of it being gargantuan and with the exception of Gravel Storm and the fact that it can cast Earthquake. Don't forget that. It just once per day. Oh yeah, I can cast Earthquake as an innate spell. Don't forget that. That is a massive spell. So I feel like if I were going to run this dragon, I would either lean into that, like make it smaller, make it maybe even medium sized or large sized. And then I would maybe take Gravel Storm down a notch, make it a little bit less powerful, throw it at a level 3 party, or beef up everything else, make it gargantuan, throw it at a level 8, 9, 10 party. When they're trying to walk up the King's Road, have this thing come out at them and ruin their day, try to take their magic items. That's what I would do. So there you go, Bailey. Great job. Thank you so much for taking part in Dragon Week. I've had so much fun reviewing these dragons, and they're so awesome. And you know what? I have been known to use some of these homebrew creations in my Barrenlands campaign. And you know what, Bailey? Bailey is a player in my Barrenlands campaign. Bailey, you might have just given me horrible inspiration for what to put into this game in the future. And let me tell you what, if this thing shows up in the Barrenlands, I can promise you this, that HP is going to be bumped way, way up. So don't be surprised if at 195 it's not quite even bloodied yet. But anyway, excellent dragon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching these reaction videos. I hope you had a great Dragon Week. And as is the custom for Dragon Week videos, I'm going to call out one of my favorite D&D YouTubers. And for this video, the YouTuber I'm going to call out is MysticArts. So MysticArts is a D&D tuber that kind of exploded onto the scene not too long ago, making some really awesome videos, getting lots of views, and basically becoming someone who came onto the scene fast and then grew really fast. But the thing about MysticArts that I like is actually the actual high quality of the videos themselves. I think that MysticArts, like the creator of that YouTube channel, I believe he is actually a filmmaker. So I'm not surprised that there's such high quality, and the B-roll footage stuff that he puts in his videos is just so good. The lighting is so good. So yeah, I'm just going to give a big shout out. I've watched several MysticArts videos. I haven't watched all of them, but I've watched several of them. And I find myself watching them thinking, wow, like I don't just like the tips and the D&D stuff. I actually like the film. Like the film itself is good. So shout out to you. Well done. Really enjoy your stuff. Keep on going. Definitely a huge fan. And again, I want to give a huge shout out to Pointy Hat and Ginny D. I was going to call her Dinny G. Ginny D for hosting Monster Week, putting it on. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the hobby. And with that being said, that's going to be a wrap for this one. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode of GM Philosophy in the Morning. At this point, I'm here 1-ish days a week creating content about my favorite game in the world, D&D. Roll some D100s for me at your next game, and I'll see you awesome people on the next one.